Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Too Hot to Handle coverage here on the Hot Dimmies on Islands podcast. Today, we will be talking about Too Hot to Handle Season 6, Batch 2. That's episodes 5 through 7. So if you haven't watched episodes 5 through 7 yet and you're planning to, definitely go back and watch them now. But if you're not planning to watch it, that's fine. You can totally watch and listen along without it. We will explain everything. I'm, of course, Kirsten MacInnis, and I am joined by Haley Strong today. Haley, how are you?
Sorry, Kirsten, Haley wasn't available, but Bad Haley was. Let's talk about nipples and G-strings.
Honestly, you sound way more normal than Bad Lana does.
Okay, Bad Lana sounds like a super villain created by AI.
It's like deeply disturbing just the way that she like imagine if like Siri on your phone talked dirty to you. That's what Bad Lana's literally supposed to be, and yet it's somehow worse than that.
I hate it personally. Mostly because I like Lana's soft British accent, where Bad Lana like I don't trust Bad Lana. Like if Bad Lana and I know that's the point.
Yeah, her name is Bad Lana.
Yeah,
you can't trust her.
Yeah, and you're right. We should be calling her anal. Like if she was telling me anything, like I'm not believing her. Like I'm like, no, I'm not listening to you. What are you gonna tell me to do? Shoplift? No, I'm not doing that.
Oh, you wouldn't shoplift if Bad Lana told you to?
Whatever Bad Lana told me to do, I would do the opposite.
I feel like it. Listen, it's been a long time since I've had sticky fingers, but it really wouldn't take much to convince me to shoplift.
No, I'm such a rule follower. I've never shoplifted.
Oh. If you were like 10 years younger than you are now, I would tell you what a rush it is. But I feel like now we're
I would go
past that.
That sounds nice. I'm not going.
Yeah, you don't want to rush. That's why I thought you were gonna say you like good Lana, because she encourages them not to have sexual contact.
Yeah, that like she encourages rules, and I love rules. Like they're there for a reason. Why wouldn't they be? Why would they be rules if they weren't there?
I mean, the Too Hot to Handle rules are pretty arbitrary.
I mean, sure. But like, if I got to go to a resort where I was going to get money for nobody to touch me, that sounds great.
Yeah, for regular people like us, that is kind of a dream. But okay, what have been your thoughts on the season so far? Like starting this batch of episodes, what did you think? Who did you like? Who did you hate?
This season is feeling like a bit of a snoozy booze fest. I don't particularly care about anyone. It's hard for me to get invested in any of the relationships, and even like I feel like we spent 4 episodes trying to get invested in certain relationships, and then this batch of episodes was like, nope, no more caring about them because we've got new ones and they're kissing each other. I was enjoying Louis, and I thought he really had a chance to win because of like the growth he was going to show as somebody who was here before. And then this batch was just like, no, that's okay. We're not going to do that.
I unfortunately don't think Louis was ever going to grow, so I'm not super shocked by the arc he took. But yeah, I do agree. Like typically, the middle batch of episodes of Too Hot to Handle is like the most exciting, the most rule breaks. Everything's crazy. People are making wild decisions, and I do think that this one was a little slower than usual. And it's actually all Bad Lana's fault because they're scared to go to jail, and I want it to be messy and chaotic. I don't want them to like sure lose money, be afraid of that, but like don't be afraid of being imprisoned.
Yeah, there were a few moments where I was feeling like we were seeing the Too Hot to Handle that we know and love, but none of those moments really rose to the top, if that makes sense. There was one night where there was basically an orgy and everybody was losing money left, right, and center. We had some breakups and hooking up with other people. Did we have new people this batch?
Yes, there are 2 new people in this batch as well.
But right at the very end, right?
Right at the end, yeah.
Right. So I felt like I had the elements, but it just didn't come together for me this batch.
And that's okay. They can't all be winners. I do think I can't believe I'm saying this because it's probably not true. I feel like I will remember the people from this season better than I remember the people from the last couple seasons, which is that I don't remember them at all.
I forget them already.
Yeah. I feel like there's a few I'll remember. I won't remember all of them. There's a few I will remember, and hopefully those will be the ones who show up on Perfect Match season 3, so that when next time when Jason's like, hey, what do we need to know about this person, I can be like, this is what happened to them,
No,
rather
but
than being like,
Jason's gonna watch this whole season. He said.
yeah, he probably will. I think he will. I think he really liked it, and it was very fun to talk about Batch 1 with Jason as well. He was new to Twat to handle, and I think he brought all of the smoke he needed to bring.
He is one of my favorite people to listen to. Jason, if you're listening to this podcast, you're one of my favorite people to listen to.
No, he's so funny. I was telling him at the start of Perfect Match, I was telling him that, like, in my brain, we've talked a lot because I've heard him on, like, the 90-day podcast so much. But that actually I realized we haven't spoken face to face. I've experienced that with him, but he hasn't experienced that back with me.
That is how I've felt about you this summer, where I feel like every podcast I've been listening to has been a Kirsten podcast. Between Perfect Match and Love Island and this, it just fills up my podcast week. So you are truly the only person I've been listening to for like 2 months. And I text you all the time being like, actually this. Like, sorry, I'm having a conversation with you when I wasn't there.
That's my favorite thing in the world. I sometimes get too self-conscious to text people when I'm listening to their podcast, but I love it when people text me while they're listening, so I should just get over myself.
I think you should.
Okay, let's jump into the episodes. Where the last batch ended was where Damari was talking to Bree, and he was like supposed to admit to kissing Valentina on the date, but also it seemed like he didn't want to because he's scared because she was like demanding eye contact. And he does ultimately tell her that he kissed Valentina, but he's really just kind of like, and then we kiss. So he can't make eye contact, he can't enunciate, he's scared.
I have a question. Why are these people so tied to each other 27 hours after meeting?
Okay, so that's a good point. I do think that, like, Bree and Damari had, like, spoken, and because he was so mad when she had kissed Chris literally 5 minutes into the experience, you would think that maybe he would understand that she wouldn't love it if he kissed someone else, like, a couple days into being coupled up with her. I don't know, it seemed like they really like each other, but then he treated her not very nice here.
I think that's fair. I don't feel any chemistry from. Actually, I feel like no chemistry from any couple this season, and I wonder if that's my struggle with it, is that I don't have anybody to believe in.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like Bree really has a wall up, and Damari is. It takes a long time for him to see her as human? So that is a bit of a struggle here. Because he tells her, and she's like, okay, so you saw a fat ass, you spent some money, like, what are we doing here? And he's like, oh, well, it doesn't change anything about how I feel with you. And Bree's like, no, I do not let people play me. Go find somewhere else to sleep. And then in confessionals, like, he can kiss me goodbye and not on the lips. Like, she is just done. Which I think is fair, just based on how he reacted to her having kissed someone else way earlier in the process. Like, yeah, I'd be done with him too, probably. Totally. But this is where I was dying, because Damari's like, oh man, I have such a big decision to make. Am I going to sleep with Bree or am I going to sleep with Valentina? And it's like, babe, you just got dumped.
Decision has been made. The men on this season are so delusional. I'm glad Jordan left because he was giving me real, like, hashtag nice guy vibes, where like, oh, nice guys always lose. And he literally was just like, oh, I don't get my way with Flavia, I'm leaving. Like,
yeah, he got rejected for the first time in his life and said, I gotta go. And yeah, here's where I need to confess to something, because at the start of the season, before we knew his personality at all, when they're in their little bondage costumes at the start, I think Jordan was like the most my type out of any of them.
It's okay. I'm going to admit something to you that I'm ashamed of.
Tell me.
which is that Charlie, I think, is very hot.
No.
I know. I knew you were gonna do this. That's why I was scared to tell you.
No, it's fine. This is a safe space. It takes all kinds. Everybody has different types, and I mean, just finding anyone on the show attractive is embarrassing. So we can sit in that together.
I've honestly, the two people who have had the most chemistry for me this season so far are Charlie and Bree when they're in like the banishment jail. Well, yeah, because it was platonic chemistry, exactly, but it was chemistry nonetheless.
Well, but that's the thing too, is I feel like so much of the people on this season, and maybe it's because they knew it was too hot to handle when they were going in, are like so caught up on sexual chemistry and nothing else, even though that's literally not the point of the show, that they are totally ignoring all the other aspects of connection. And so to see people just being friends is kind of like, oh, yeah, that's like, nice. Human connection.
They did a lot of platonic hand-holding, which I really appreciated for whatever reason. I just thought that it was kind of cute and kind of sweet that and Charlie kind of went to bat for Brie a couple times where he was like, no, like we're friends. Like I built a great relationship with her. Like she's great. So they're actually my favorite pairing and they'll never be together. I buy Joao and Flavia.
Yeah.
But they're both so young that there's no way it's going anywhere outside of.
How old is Flavia?
I'm not sure, but Joao is 22. So
yeah, he is 22. And okay, Flavia was 25 when season 4 happened. So I guess she's born in 1997. So she's 26. She's 4 years older than him.
I think 4 years isn't a big difference when you're 30 and 34, but it's a huge difference when you're 26 and your boyfriend is 22.
I agree completely that there's a lot of growing up between 22 and 26. But you never know. Joao might just be like super mature because he's a rock star. Haven't you heard?
I heard he's a rock star. I don't know about your second point, if I can buy that one.
He looks 12. I can't get over it. And like, that is again just because I'm old.
Got his high school diploma, like definitely. And not that he's dumb way and didn't get into his swing too. I mean, like he looks like he's 17 and a half.
Yeah. Unfortunately, facts say that he is older. So then,
I mean, what facts? This profile I see on USA Today.
I mean, they can't put an underage person on Too Hot to Handle. He has to be at least 18.
That's fair. People graduate high school at 18.
That's true. That it could happen. So then we get bedtime. It's like nighttime cam, and this is where a lot of rule breaks are happening. Flavia's like kissing right adjacent to Joao's mouth to like seduce him into breaking the rules, which like I feel like those like kisses along the face should count as rule breaks because they are clearly, meant to be sexual in nature.
I agree, but I feel like it's hard to delineate that sometimes because once in a while you'll see a forehead kiss where that is more tender and less sexual. But if you do a forehead kiss, no rule break. But like a cheek kiss trying to like get to the mouth, rule break. Like where on the face is rule break and not rule break,
I need a map. I need a facial map to show me what is what. So then Flavia and Joao kiss at least 2 times, and then we see some stuff happening under the blanket. Then we have Louise and Catherine are in bed, and Louis is in confessional being like, oh man, I miss Catherine while she was on her date. Absence makes the dick grow harder. And he basically is just like, let's kiss more. And Catherine's like, okay, but only if it's a secret. And then they go in.
I don't understand people's obsession on this show with being like, we're not telling anyone. The computer's going to tell you. Like, the computer's going to tell everyone. You can't lie about this. Be like, no, it wasn't us. Lana's going to be like, yes, it was, and here's the footage. We saw you. Enjoy.
I feel like season 1, you could keep it a secret, but now we're on season 6. These people legitimately just chose to go on Too Hot to Handle. They weren't tricked by going on some other show. Like, you gotta know, it's going to be exposed. And like, Catherine has been exposed several times already this season. So I don't know why she thought a secret was going to happen. In the morning, the vibe in the bedroom is so awkward. It is like
so
extremely weird.
Everybody's looking around being like, I know I've done something wrong. I hope they didn't hear me. But everybody was too busy doing their own thing.
Yeah. Well, and Valentina comes in all like, good morning, everyone, as if like they're best friends, and she hasn't just been so mean to everybody. And I guess she hasn't been mean yet to everyone, but everyone is just like ice cold with her. But she says, hey, we didn't break the rules tonight. And in confessional, she says, wow, if I don't get more attention, like, I'm going to move on and break rules with the next guy instead.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. She does not seem to be a good hang. For me. I bet she is for the guys in this house.
She, I don't think, is much of a girl's girl.
No,
but maybe she is in like real life, and just like the villa is set up to not encourage that.
I feel like she would bully me. I feel like Gianna would bully me. But I think everyone else would be nice to me.
Why do you think Gianna would bully you?
She just seems like the type where she's 21. She's going to do a little bullying.
Okay.
Specifically to somebody like me. Before she grows out of it. She'll grow out of being mean. She's not currently mean on the show.
She hasn't done anything mean on the show, but she just like scares you.
She scares me, yeah.
That's fair. It's okay to be scared. We find out that Lucy rejected Charlie's advances last night, and he's very upset about another night with no action, and he just wants to break the rules.
Then maybe go on a different show if you want to kiss people. Go on Love Island. Do you think this guy was rejected from Love Island? So he signed up for Too Hot to Handle?
100%. Because he's like, you could think he's hot all you want, Haley, but like, he's not Love Island hot.
I don't tend to find the men on Love Island particularly hot for me.
But he's not the type of hot that goes on Love Island.
No.
I do think if he like, and this is gonna sound so mean, I don't like his gray hair. It really ages him in my eyes.
Yeah, he's only 21, which is very shocking.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well that's.
And here's going to be something that's kind of contradicting. I can't stand when people play guitar at me, but I would be impressed if somebody played a saxophone at me.
Ethan, it's time to learn an instrument.
He recently did get his keyboard from his parents' house. He doesn't know how to play the piano or keyboard, but he owns one, and it lives at our house now.
Well, he could learn. He could learn from a phone app. The First Lady of Podcasting learned that way.
I'm not going to tell him that, but next time you see him, feel free.
Next time I send you a voice memo, I'll include it in case he's listening.
That's an inside joke, everybody, because recently I voice noted Kirsten, and then Ethan started talking to me because he thought I was talking to him. Can you believe that?
I know. And Haley's like, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Kirsten. Okay, so Lana comes in while they're all in the bedroom and is like, you all need to be honest, even when it means owning up to your mistakes and facing criticisms. And this is where we kind of get into the day, because nobody is honest yet. They all are lying about the rules that they broke. Charlie's kind of mean to Lucy. He's like, are you going to keep being a teacher's pet?
And I would be like, yes, I am. Thank you for asking. Thank you for talking to me.
Shut up, Charlie. Damari is like making excuses about Brie to Valentina to explain why they didn't kiss in bed. It's so weird. And Valentina's like, oh, so you're in love with Brie then? I'll break the rules with someone else. And Louis is begging Catherine to keep it a secret what they did last night because he knows he's on his last chance.
Yeah, and I don't feel that bad for him, honestly.
No, I really don't. He has not learned a thing. So
he's digressed, actually.
He's a menace. He can't help it. Menace things just happen when he's around. So Lana calls everyone to the cabana and she says, no one rose to my challenge, and now we're gonna do things the hard way. And this is where I was like, oh, Louis is getting sent home right now, is what I thought was going to happen. But it turns out he gets to stay a little longer. She says, at least Damari and Valentina were honest about what they did on the date yesterday. They spent $6,000. And this is what made me so mad throughout this batch, because Charlie is so mad about the money getting spent.
Yeah, and you're like,
because he wants to spend the money.
Yeah, you would have spent money if Lucy wanted to. But she didn't.
Yeah.
She cares about the people in the villa.
Yeah. He's horny and he's jealous. And Damari, Valentina's like, oh, well, just because you don't like your girl as much to kiss her, that's not my problem. And she and like Lucy get into it a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay, Valentina's mean.
Yeah, Valentina's not a good hang.
No, and Bree's like, well, it's not like Damari's touching up on you in bed, Valentina. She's like, well, he liked me enough to leave you for me. And then she like turns, I don't know who she says this to. She goes, funny how I don't have any problems with the hot girls, just the basic ones. I'm like, girl, shut up.
You're not gonna get anywhere like that.
She's like just so rude for literally no reason. And this is where Lana says that there were 9 rule breaks that she needs to talk about.
Wild. Is that the most amount of rule breaks in one sitting?
It's close. If it's not the most, it's close to it. And no one will own up to their indiscretions. And she says, well, one couple kissed twice and indulged in heavy petting for a loss of $16,000. And if the guilty parties don't own their mistakes, the fine will be doubled to $32,000. So at this point, Joao and Flavia admit to what they've done. And what I love is they're like making the justifications for this. And Joao's like, well, put yourself in that situation. It's hard. And Lucy's like, we are in this situation.
We're on the same show, all of us.
Oh, it killed me. And then we find out that Louis and Catherine had a shower together, which lingered on the mammary area of the body, I think is how Lana describes it. Louis admits that it was them. We find out they also kissed 4 times and had a mutual manual gratification. But here's where I'm confused, okay?
Okay.
Because it cost them $40,000. And I feel we get into this every season, okay? Mm-hmm. They kissed 4 times, which would be $24,000, which means there's $16,000 left to lose. So then what? The shower was also $6,000, and then the mutual manual gratification was $10,000. Like, what's the price? Just show me the full price menu.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you guys said this last week. At some point, it just makes more financial sense to just go straight for P&B.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they count the kisses as like part of that. Yeah. And then you're getting just,
That's why better skip kissing. No mouth to mouth, just P&B, straight P&B.
I mean, they probably should do some stuff before they go for P&B, just like, I don't know, foreplay.
I mean, if they're that horned up, I don't think they need it.
So the price went down to $137,000, which is like they've barely spent $100,000. Like they still have more than what the season 1 prize fund was. So I'm just like not feeling that sorry for them. Mm-hmm. And Lana says the dishonesty and deceit concerns me the most. Like, you've been warned, so they're on notice. And this is where we get a little foreshadowing where Charlie says that the connection with Lucy is more brother-sister. And it's like, oh, so because she won't hook up with you, suddenly the connection is nothing. It's so annoying.
It is very annoying.
especially because he was so focused on her at the start. Like, he had options, he chose her, and then now he's like, oh, well, it's really just brother, sister. No, I don't like it.
And then he's also not talking to her about it. That was one of the things, who was it? Catherine and Charlie both went behind their original people's backs to be like, okay, like, are we doing this? And then we'll tell the people we're with that we're not quite satisfied. And I don't even really understand Catherine's thing, like how she switched so quickly from being into Louis to not being into Louis anymore.
It was, well, I mean, I feel like there was a little bit of foreshadowing up to this point of where she's realizing that with Louis, it's just a sexual connection. Like, she even tries to talk to him, and she's wearing like her most covered up bathing suit because she wants to be good. And he's still just like not listening to what she's saying because he's staring at her and like not valuing her as a person outside of how she looks and what she can do for him sexually. So like they did cue that up a little bit. But what really makes them realize is the next workshop where Brendan Durrell, the relationship expert we see every season, is back. And he is going to teach them about how to be honest. And this workshop is looking in a mirror and telling him what you see. And then he goes, no, not physically. What do you feel like you have to put up a facade? Look in the mirror. Are you looking at the real you or a facade? And then everyone just like starts being vulnerable. I mean, it seemed like this workshop really worked for people, but it was a pretty weak workshop in my opinion.
They're really digging to the bottom of the barrel for these workshops this season. I think the second one in this drop too was a real stretch, but that also worked for some people.
Well, I mean, if your mom tells you that women are people, then you'll understand that women are people. Haley, God.
Yike. But sure, if that's what you need to believe it, yeah, good on ya.
But like even during the challenge, Catherine says that she feels like she has to show that she's a woman who has it all together and she can do it all, but she just really wants to be loved. And then Charlie's like, oh, I'm so attracted to you right now. I just want to kiss you. And Charlie's thing is like, oh, I feel like I have to be so like funny and I am not. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you're not. It's okay. Some people just aren't funny.
Yeah, we can't all be Haley Strong, and it's okay.
You are too kind.
So at the end of this challenge, Brie is also like, I'm willing to give people more than one chance now, but Damari still doesn't understand why my feelings are hurt, and so he can't have another chance just yet. But the door is open.
I like Brie.
I like Brie too. Brie's extremely real. I feel like she's so fun, and I really hope that she's on the next season of Perfect Match so we get to know her a little bit better.
You hope her and her relationship doesn't work out?
With Damari? Yeah, I hope that doesn't work out. I don't like him. Catherine talks to some of the girls about the Charlie situation, and Flavia is like really encouraging her to talk to Charlie and figure it out. Like, she's a bit of a shit stirrer here. And then she goes, like, Flavia goes straight to Joe out and is like, things are going down tonight. Like, Louis and Catherine are breaking up, and Charlie and Lucy are breaking up. And Louis is like, Catherine, I need more attention. And she's like, anyways, bye.
What a reality TV personality move that was.
Yeah, I love it. And Damari still pulls Brie again to try and get her back. And he's like, I did kiss her, and I'm sorry for the way that looks, and comes off not for doing it, for how it looks.
Yeah.
And she's just like really sad and doesn't want to be in a situation where he feels like he can have his cake and eat it too. And he's like, I like you. I don't want to throw it away. And she's like, don't you feel like you threw it away? And he just doesn't understand the depth of why she's upset, which is fine. And Brie's like, listen, I do not care to get to know you more right now. Goodbye.
Yeah, I feel that they're living in two different timelines. where Damari thinks he still has a chance, and Brie has moved past that. Although, like, she does regress a little bit on that one.
I mean, I think Brie was always like, I give him a chance if he can appropriately verbalize what went wrong, like what he did, and actually give a genuine apology.
Fine.
But he's
Fine.
But he couldn't do it, and so they are living in two worlds right now.
Yeah. Well, because I don't think that one single one of these men have any ability to self-reflect, which is a big issue.
Yeah, it's typically something you want in a relationship is someone who can self-reflect, but not on Too Hot to Handle. Charlie and Catherine have their talk, and it's very much like, oh, we have unfinished business. Oh, I feel like you're the one I meant to be with. Oh, and Charlie's like, oh, I went for the safer option. Which, like, you didn't even give Lucy a chance. You just wanted to break the rules. I feel quite strongly that Charlie was like, oh, remember when I kissed Catherine on day one and she was really into me? I can get back with her and we can break the rules. And then I can like feel some relief for my horniness.
Yeah, and it really broke my heart when Lucy was talking about why she liked Charlie so much, because she was always told that when you find your person, it'll feel like home, and that Charlie feels like home. And then Charlie's like in the confessional, like, I'm gonna bang whoever else is next. Like, who else can I kiss on the mouth? Yeah. That like really broke my heart. I think Lucy's seems super sweet, super genuine, was kind of like here for the right reason. She reminds me a lot of Emily from, what was it, season 2, like Emily and Cam.
Well, and did you know Emily and Cam are still together and just had a baby this year?
I did know that. They pop up on my feeds every once in a while, and I go, oh.
I can't believe there's a Too Hot to Handle baby. Yeah. And it wasn't like an accidental baby that happened during the season.
Yes.
It's just wild. Listen, the show can work if you just let it work.
Yeah. I mean, I think he cheated on her at one point in this too, but
they've worked it out. I'm not about to try and get in between a real life couple's relationship.
Yeah, not happening.
Not for me. So they agree that tomorrow they're gonna sleep in the bed together, but they're gonna keep it a secret tonight, which is like so evil, really. Like Lucy's in confessional. Oh, I haven't seen Charlie today. I can't wait to sleep in the bed with him. I can't wait to cuddle up with him.
And they were both with her right now. They were both snuggling with their respective partners. Like Louis and Catherine, I thought they looked so cute. Where she was kind of like laying on his chest. Or was he laying on? I don't know. Somebody was laying on their chest.
Before bed, she was like laying on her back, and he was like kind of in between her legs, like his arms wrapped around her stomach and his head on her stomach. It looked super cute, and you could just tell he's a little clingy. He is like feeling like he needs more attention, which he literally told her, and then she ignored him. And then Lucy's wearing kind of like a sexier night like pajama outfit than what we've seen her in so far, and like you could tell she's like excited to cuddle up with him. And then
he cuddles up with her too. It's not like they're sleeping like with a pillow divider. He's also he's holding her in his arms as he's winking at Catherine. Like that's such a grimy ass move.
Yeah. It is sleazy. And they like cuddle up before bed, but then when they wake up in the morning, Lucy's like, wow, I didn't even get cuddles last night. Like that sucks. And it's like, okay, well, I guess at least he didn't cuddle her, but also why didn't he just tell her last night?
Yeah.
I don't know. And this is where Louis also says, oh, I feel like I'm starting to get feelings for Catherine. I feel like this could be real. And it's like, oh God, it's all going to fall apart. Flavia says she feels like she's in a telenovela and they do like a little editing trick. Ugh, it's so much.
It's a lot, and it makes me sad because Lucy seems so sweet.
One, also like Catherine was talking to so many people about this, and yet nobody gave Lucy a heads up. It made me feel really sad for her.
Yes, I agree.
And Lucy's like, oh, I just want to go frolic in the sea with Charlie today. And it's like, oh, but little did she know. And Catherine and Charlie have a conversation about how to break up with their current partners. And Catherine's like, oh, are you going to tell her right now? And he's like, yeah, like, what do you think? She's like, yeah, the sooner the better. Like, let's tell them. Because she's been thinking about Charlie this whole time. And so Catherine just like says the truth to Louis. She's like, I feel like what we have is more physical. I've been really thinking about Charlie this whole time. I want to try it with him. So we're going to try it. And then Charlie tells Lucy that he just doesn't want to pursue her anymore. She's great, but there's not anything else there. And he does not tell her about Catherine.
No, somebody else tells her about Catherine, and
Louis does.
Yeah, Louis tells her, and she's devastated, understandably so, because there is a difference between being like, hey, I'm just not feeling it, and he's feeling it with somebody else more behind my back. Like, obviously, there was a conversation that happened for them to get to that point where they're willing to break it off with their current partners, and it just feels like she was so blindsided.
Yeah, she had no idea. She thought that they were really connecting and things are going well. And like Louis telling Damari and Joao about the breakup happening, and Joao kind of exposes that he knew about it. And so Lucy must be getting dumped right now. And then when Lucy comes in, Louis like, oh, did they tell you why? And she's like, no. And he's like, oh, well, it's like Catherine broke up with me because she wants to get with Charlie. And then she like immediately is weeping. Joao like leads her out of the bedroom. It's extremely dramatic. And Louis like, ugh, I might have to sleep in the bed with Chris. But then JK, because immediately he's like, oh, hey, Gianna. And she's like, oh, I've had a crush on you this whole time. And Bree's like, oh, you should sleep in Gianna's bed. And he's like, oh, well, Gianna needs to rizz me up first. But obviously he didn't like Catherine that much because he's just going to sleep in Gianna's bed tonight. And he says in the confessional, he's like, I really am a menace.
I think it hurt him more than he's letting on. I think he doesn't want to be embarrassed on international television that he got ditched for like some 21-year-old who's already going gray. I like the gray hair, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, there's nothing wrong. I think if he had a different haircut, it would be different. Like, I don't even think it's the gray hairs. I just don't like his haircut. I think is more of a problem.
You know what? Different strokes for different folks. I think Louis' feelings were probably a little more hurt than he is telling us.
He won't say anything, but maybe that's okay because now the men are having their first solo men's workshop, which is about respect. And they get asked, oh, who do you respect more than anyone? And they're like saying dumb answers. But then the real answer is it should be your mother that you respect more than anyone. And they all have to climb into these like wooden boxes that are lined with satin that are supposed to be like going back into the womb.
These remind me of what like grandparents store potatoes and onions in. You know what I mean? Climbing. Those like boxes that you store potatoes and onion in.
It's like a root. It's like a root cellar vibe thing, or like, do you mean like the ones that go in your kitchen?
The ones that go in your kitchen. They're like a little covered.
Yeah. Because it keeps it dark and cool. Yeah, so then your potatoes and onions last longer. Yes. So they all go into these boxes and they're closed in the dark, and it's supposed to be like connecting them to the magic of their mothers. And then they all get messages from their mothers that were recorded for this. And we get a lot of like, Charlie's mom tells him that he should consider women the way he would want his sisters to be treated. Damari gets told, oh, you should be treating women the way you would want me to be treated. And like literally Damari says after this, oh, I never thought the way I treated women was disrespectful, but now I know that it was. I'm like, my guy, this is so frustrating. We also get someone giving the confessional that's like, oh my God, women have the power to carry life, so they're so powerful and we should be nice to them. And we have got to stop with this gender essentialism because like there are lots of cis women who can't, carry a child, and that doesn't make them any less women. And also trans women are women. We need to stop. I've had enough with the show, like pushing this weird line.
I've also had enough of like men who are like, I've never considered a woman a person before. This is this is new, and like they've just been in a potato box.
Yeah.
So what? Like, where did you learn this lesson?
Like
Because
basically,
your mom called you. Like, grow up.
like Charlie's basically saying, "Oh, I didn't even realize my sisters were people
Yeah,
until,"
basically.
or
He's
like I
basically
knew they were people, but I didn't know they were women. It's so weird.
It's a tough look.
It's no good. It's like the whole. I get that can be a way to break into people that just are not down for the cause, to be like, oh, but like, what about your mom? What about your sisters? What about your daughters? And it's like, okay, I guess if that's like a way in to get someone to start understanding, it's better than nothing. But truly, how low is the bar
It's in
for
hell.
accepting
Like,
women or
it's in
people? It's
hell.
so bad.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
like
Sorry.
below hell.
I just hit my camera and it was just like showing my forehead.
It
For
was
those watching on YouTube, you just
it
got a
was
close up of my forehead.
Oh, I should have said that at the start as well. We are live on the RHAP YouTube channel, so you can see our beautiful faces while we discuss these horrible men.
And luckily, you can see all the cat hair on my shirt that I just noticed now. I like just looked down and was like, oh gosh, darn it.
I'm sorry, like your webcam is high quality, but it's not like that high quality to show like a tiny cat hairs.
Yeah, but my cat hair's like my cat is. I have a black cat, and the shirt I'm wearing is it's cream colored for those listening to the audio only podcast. So I was worried it was going to show up, but it doesn't really. So
phenomenal. I love that. I also love your pink walls in your studio. It's so cute. Okay, so after this workshop, they get the watches, which happen every season of Too Hot to Handle, where if you're wearing the watches and you have a moment of actual emotional intimacy, the watches will turn green and you can then have physical intimacy without it costing any money. And so Charlie, after the workshop, was like, I'm going to talk to Lucy because I feel bad. But then the second they get the watches, he's like, I got to go talk to Catherine. Let's see if we can get that green light.
It's not going to happen for you.
It's so dumb. And they do the thing where they're like trying to get a green light, but they're just like, oh, you're so hot. Oh, you're so pretty. Oh, I just want to kiss you. Oh, I just like you so much. And it's like, watch the show. You have to talk about something else if you want to get the green light.
Talk about your feelings and not just like you're feeling them up.
Exactly. So true. Louis is talking to Gianna about how they have a real connection they can build on.
Sure, absolutely.
And he's been wanting to kiss her. And she's wearing like a top that has like a bra closure in the back and it pops open. So he like is like, oh, I'm going to close this for you. So she like turns around and they're like looking in the mirror and he's like, look at this. Don't you think this is such a good sight? He does up the shirt and then they have a kiss. Yeah.
Louis, my guy. It's like he can't help himself. He can't. He lets the inner demons win every single time. He loves the intrusive thoughts. They come into his head and he just goes, yeah. Okay, and does them.
He literally
like my cat in that way.
He literally says, I'm not trying to be a menace, but menace things might happen. Okay. Well, they did. Damari talks to Bri again because of the workshop. And he says, I failed in treating you the way that I should have. And I understand that what I did was wrong, not because you were hurt, but because I was wrong. And I'm sorry. And Bri says, well, I have set a standard on what I will or will not go through. And how can I trust that you won't do this again? And he says, I was wrong. I didn't think of you. And I'm working to show you that you can trust me. And I do value how you feel. And Bri agrees to move forward because she likes his apology. She feels like he really owned up and it was like some grown man shit. And then he pinky promises her that his head won't be turned again. And they get a green light and a nice makeout sesh.
Good for them. Look at them go.
Yes. Charlie and Catherine are like, again, still trying to get the green light, but they don't get it. So they just break the rules anyways, which is like shown them breaking the rules while Lucy is literally crying in the other women's arms about wanting her mom and wanting to go home.
It's so tough.
It's sad. It made me really sad. And then we go straight into episode 7, the last episode of this batch. And they go straight to a cabana in the morning. And I said that Louis and Gianna kissed. I don't think they actually kissed. They were just like kissing up on each other. So my apologies for the flawed reporting. But they go to the cabana and there was a rule break last night. And everyone's looking around and Catherine is literally like giggling. She cannot keep a straight face to save her life. And Charlie's like, okay, well, it might have been us. We didn't get a green light, but we just had to get it out of our system. And Charlie's like, I know a kiss is bad, but I was actually just holding myself back from doing more. So you're welcome for not doing more. And I think Christian is the one who says, "You're welcome" is crazy.
Congrats to Christian for his first mention on this episode of the Hot Dummies on Island podcast.
Christian was in this scene, and then shortly we get a flashback that he was in for like one scene, and then that's it. That's all for him.
I think he was miscast, and by that I mean he seems so regular.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty normal dude. I don't know.
Yeah, your welcome was crazy. 100%. Like
it was.
That dude's trying. It's like the dumbest person you know trying to gaslight you, and you're like, no. That's not.
And he doesn't regret it at all. He's not sorry. He's so confused why all the smoke is on him. And it's like, my guy, you've been so mad at everyone who broke the rules, and now you broke the rules. But I do think they should probably be more mad at Catherine because she has spent so much money with Louis just to drop him and immediately spend money with Charlie.
Yeah, I think that's the they should be most mad at Catherine because she obviously doesn't care anything about anyone there.
Yeah. Lucy is past the point of being hurt. She's just angry. I'm like, oh, in one day you're done being hurt? That's wild. And Lana says, hey, Catherine and Charlie at least tried to get a green light before they broke the rules, which not everyone can say.
Like, okay, wow, what a high standard.
Truly. And so this is where Lana's like, Chris and Kylisha, you've both been here since the beginning. You haven't made any meaningful connections. She says, Kylisha, you haven't tried in the workshops, you aren't here for the right reasons, and you shut down opportunities for connections. And this is where we see a clip of like Christian being like, are you attracted to me? And her being like, no, there's nobody here for me. And because of this, you will leave my retreat today. So Kylisha's just off the show now because no one she's attracted to was cast. So she gets sent home.
So bad for her. And they just showed like all these clips of her being a little bit of a bee. But I bet they have those clips for every single person on this show. And they're just like, this is the reason why she's leaving. But it was just that she was a little boring. Like, she was just a little boring.
Maybe she's not boring. We just didn't get to see her because she didn't have a connection with anyone.
Yeah. Gianna's so lucky that Louis looked at her for 55 seconds or else she would be gone too.
100%. Chris gets to stay because he tried during the womb workshop yesterday. And he says, hey, I've learned a lot about myself and my goal is to find a connection. But Lana needs to send 2 people home. And so she says, one of my guests who should know better keeps making the same mistakes again and again and again. And all of their connections have been purely physical. And for that reason, the second person leaving my retreat is Louis. Bye.
I cannot believe they sent him home. And I wonder if it's just because his story with Catherine kind of finished and it was like able to be a dramatic moment of him leaving. But this dude has been the star of the show for 6 episodes and they're kicking him out.
Yeah, this is where I worry that like the concept of the show sometimes gets in the way of the actual show being good because they will get rid of fun and dramatic people for no reason. And Catherine like says sorry to Louis for her part in this happening. Everyone's all crying, saying goodbye to Kylisha and Louis. And Louis says, this is what happens when you think with that head and not that head. So he still hasn't learned a thing.
Real original take.
Yeah. And Lana says, I hope the lesson has landed. Try or say goodbye.
Dun 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 dun.
They really like what makes the show the best is when it's really messy and when they focus too much on the like self-improvement of getting people to not hook up is where it gets boring. So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate, but that's okay. Joao is really worried about losing Flavia. I don't know why. So he needs to tell her how he feels. And he tells her that if you had left, I would have left with you. And she says, "Oh, I feel the same way. Like, you're the motive of why I'm here." And then they get a green light and get to make out. And I really feel like they did not give enough to actually get a green light here.
No, I agree with you, but I feel like Lana is breadcrumbing them just so we can move forward in the plot. Because if she gives them the little bit, then they won't just make out and spend more money.
They should make out and spend more money. That's what I like. I'm here to see them spend money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that they should have to try a little harder to get a green light. We do have a Charlie and Catherine conversation, which goes awkward because she asks him, "Oh, what would you do if a grenade came in?" And he's like, "Oh, well, there's like a 99.7% chance that my head wouldn't be turned." Like, just say you wouldn't be turned. She's not happy with this
Yeah.
0.3% chance that his head would be turned.
Why? Yeah. Why would you be happy with that answer?
I mean, statistically, it could be basically rounded up to 100%.
Yeah. Then why not just say 100%? I
Yeah,
feel like it's so rude to
truly,
say 99.9.
why didn't he just say 100%? I'll never know, but it's weird. But that's okay. Then bad Lana clocks in this morning. Not good Lana, but bad Lana. And she says, a bad boy who thinks Brie is smoking hot is on his way to sweep her off her feet. And we also find out that Charlie's being taken on a date as well. Catherine is immediately jealous, which, like, you get him, you lose him how you got him, you know? I don't have a lot of sympathy for that.
Especially not on this show.
Well, yeah, so it's also been like a day and you're not in a relationship, so I don't know what to tell you. So this is when we get in our two new grenades. So we have Jalen from Florida. He's tall and athletic. He finds it easy to get the ladies, and he thinks rules are made to be broken. And then we get Sabrina from Toronto, and they call her Catherine 2.0. And she says she always gets what she wants. She's been told many times that it feels like she cast a spell over people, and she's not great with authority. What do you think of these two grenades?
I feel like they were focusing a lot on the girly, because she looks so much like Catherine.
Yes, she does. She really does.
I wish we got a little bit more with them in this drop, but I guess they're saving the drama until next drop.
Well, they need to have some drama for the last drop. It's key. And also, these two grenades are coming in with a 24-hour free pass from the rules. And if it doesn't work with Brie and Charlie on the dates, they can use it with someone else. And Bad Lana says, "Good luck, my hot and horny homewreckers."
Do you think it is actually a 24-hour pass, or do you think
Kate, no, I think it's a 24-hour pass, but I think any of the people that aren't these two grenades that they hook up with are going to get sent to jail.
Sure.
That's what I think. I think it's going to be like, wow, Brie, you're supposed to know better than to kiss Jalen. So back to jail for you, because for some reason Brie goes to jail every time someone's going to jail.
Poor girl.
They need to stop incarcerating her. So their date is they ride off on a jet ski to go have like drinks and like light snacks, and so everyone gets to see the people before they go off on the date. So everyone sees that Sabrina looks a lot like Catherine, and she like waves to them on the beach before they drive off. Charlie uses the same line he's used with Lucy and Catherine, which is like, "Oh, in the morning I'm 6'2", but at night I'm 6'1", because my muscles are so heavy. They like pull me down every day."
What a weird thing to, first of all, say. Second of all, say multiple times.
It's not even a good line. Like, I would get it if it was actually funny, but I feel like it's so awkward and weird. And yet he's like, well, that's my best. I feel my best line coming out. I'm like, that's your best line?
That's how you know he's not funny.
Like, it's no good. Not at all. And he says that he's not in a serious relationship, which, like, again, he's not. You coupled with Catherine literally a day ago, maybe 2 days ago. And on the dates, they get a gift box from Bad Lana with, like, and the Charlie and Sabrina one is like a little like feather on a wand to like tickle someone and massage oil. And so they do some back rubs, some massages. And Charlie says he does feel lust for Sabrina, but he's not going to pursue anything physical with Sabrina because what he has back at the retreat is good. And he's realizing now how special Catherine is. So he's just going to take Sabrina back to the villa to meet some other boys to use her 24-hour pass with. But, like, please don't tell anyone about the massage.
It's just a massage. Oh my God, that guy is such a loon, man.
I mean, they didn't even seem like sexy massages. Like, I really don't
No,
think.
it was very much, you have a knot. I could go for one of those right now, actually.
I would love that right now. It'd be so good. But yeah, like, it didn't seem that much anyways. So Jalen and Bree on their date, she says he reminds her of someone that she dated in the past when she used to have a lot of fun. And when she says to him is that she's not open, but she's not closed off. And he says, well, so what is this, Malcolm in the Middle? Which I thought was genuinely very funny.
I love that for you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't have anything against Jalen. Their gift box has fuzzy handcuffs and massage oil. And so they do massages. And I feel like him massaging her was more sexual than the one on the other date, but still not like a lot. Like, it wasn't
not like yeah, not crazy.
And then when he tells her about the 24-hour rule break pass, he says, what do you want to do? And she's like, oh, I don't know, there's no rules, this is killing me. And he's like, oh, you're like a goddess. And it looks like they maybe kiss, which I'm like, okay, revenge on Damari, but we don't actually find out in this episode if they actually kissed or not, which leads me to believe they didn't kiss.
That's such a good point. I feel like it's like the Rob on Love Island thing where if it happened, they would have showed us.
Yeah, I just feel like they would have had her tell, and then we get the stuff next batch, but I don't know. We'll find out. During these dates at the villa, the women are really nervous for Catherine because they saw what Sabrina looks like. And she's like, oh, now I see where Lucy's coming from and why Lucy
yeah, like that. I'm like, girl. Like, it made me so mad. Like, oh, of course, now I get it. Now I know what she went through. Like, you put her through that. That's on you.
And then Flavia goes, Karma's a bitch. And I'm like, Flavia, you pushed her so hard to pursue Charlie. And now you're like, oh, Karma's a bitch. Crazy. And Bad Lana comes back to the villa to let them know that the dates are going very, very well. And they've just gotten even better because the new arrivals have a 24-hour pass from the rules to do what they want with whom they want.
Go for it.
Yeah, have fun.
I think they should have sent Lucy and whoever else into the jail so that they could watch these dates.
You mean Catherine?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, if they put Catherine and Damari into the jail and then they could like pay $5,000 to watch the date or something, that would have been fun.
I like that game mechanic, and I can't believe they didn't use it again here.
Yeah, well, that's because I think they're going to use it with whoever the people break the rules with are going to go into banishment is my prediction.
Right.
They come back in and Valentina immediately asks Brie, like, oh, did you guys kiss? Say yes or no. And the men are like watching and Damari's like, she hasn't answered. Like, what the heck? Charlie and Sabrina come back in. They're, of course, holding hands again because production tells them hold hands when you walk into the villa. But, of course, it still causes discourse every single time. Charlie says they were good. They didn't break the rules, immediately pulls Catherine and tells her that the date was good. And obviously there is a 24-hour pass, but he did not kiss Sabrina or anything. We'll see if he tells her about the massage or not. And then Bree pulls Damari, and we don't know yet if she kissed Jalen. She hasn't told him yet. The episode ends.
Uh-oh.
It ain't right.
Weird of them to just drop 3 episodes, right? Or
no, I think this was always the plan. It was going to be 4 for the first drop and then 3 and 3. So it'll end next Friday. We will get episodes 8, 9, and 10. So we're almost done. We're like 70% through with Too Hot to Handle season 6.
This has been a busy summer for you.
And they dropped the show with no warning. I'm fine. Last year, Too Hot to Handle, Love Island, and Big Brother were all on at the exact same time. So it's like a little bit better because at least Love Island is over now.
Yes.
I don't know. They hate me. Haley, is there anything else we didn't talk about for Too Hot to Handle season 6 that you wanted to touch on and speak on?
I don't think so. I think we covered it. I'm just wondering where we can go with the show from here. I thought it was interesting that at the beginning of the first drop, we've eliminated pretending they don't know what the show is. And you know what? I like the charm of pretending they don't know they're on Too Hot to Handle. That's funny.
I really believe they don't know. I really do believe they don't know they're on Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah, I am also willing to suspend the disbelief. I think it's funny. The Mario Lopez thing last season was hilarious to me.
Iconic.
I feel like they're so close to having a good format, but it doesn't quite come together all the way. And I think it's because of how hard and fast they are on, like, well, you can't kiss for emotional connection. And they, like, the workshops all feel like very clunky. It's like we have all of the pieces, we just can't seem to fit them together. And that's becoming more and more evident as the show continues. And I wonder if it's now time to find a different format for these hot people to go into.
I just think they take themselves too seriously. Yeah. I think if the show was like a little more tongue-in-cheek and a little bit more embracing of the chaos parts of it that are where it's at its best, I think they would have a better product. But unfortunately, they really act like this is like the moral authority on relationships. Mm-hmm. And if you don't meet like their relationship requirements, you are a bad person and there's no personal growth for you. So it's a weird vibe, but that's okay. Haley, thank you so much for joining me to talk about Batch 2 of Too Hot to Handle.
It's always a thrill. I love being able to talk to you. Yes. You're the best, and I love you so much.
Stop, you're the best, and I love you so much. That's crazy. For the people listening or watching that maybe don't know where else to find you, can you let them know?
Of course I can. The Bachelorette season is in full swing, and me and my co-host Amy, we are covering that. If you are into The Bachelorette, join us along. We also recently celebrated our 10 years of podcasting, so we did a really fun special episode of our top 10 favorite moments in the Bachelor franchise. So that is available, if not in the Hot Dummies. It's not in the Hot Dummies on Islands feed, obviously, but it is in the RHAP feed, so check that out. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @strong_, or you can check out everything I am reading over on the Strong Library on Instagram. I put up all of my book reviews, and if you like this podcast, well, you'll probably like that as well.
Amazing. And if people want to hear more from me, you can follow me everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch at Kirsten Said What. And you can listen to me every week on Mess Magnets with Sasha Joseph, breaking down pop culture, celeb gossip, and trending topics. I was on the 90 Day Fiancé wrap up this week, talking about the 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After finale. Week I was on the veto episode recap on Wednesday night for Big Brother with Rob, Taryn, and AJ, and special surprise guest Taylor Hale, which was really fun as well. So definitely check all of that out. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a 5-star rating and review on the Hot Dummies on Islands podcast feed. It's a really great way to let people know that this podcast exists so that they can find it. And if you've already left us a review, you can tell a friend, and that is just as good as leaving a review as well. I'll be back after the last drop of episodes with Tori from the Ready to Be Petty and Ready to Be Romance podcast, breaking everything down. And I will see you then. Bye.